and at the end we'll have about 20 minutes to cover a topic of what I call I thoughts in Unbox. So we talked about good thoughts, bad thoughts, and there's a third type of thought called I thought, which we have Sonali with us here. Sonali will help us cover some of that concepts and share her experiences and thoughts around that. So just that is the general overview of today's session. So let's just get started. So the quick recap. So what we have learned in MindGym is that first thing is that our attention has a limited capability as per neuroscience. So we have 127 points, or 100, actually it's 127 bits per second that my attention can process, my brain can process. So if I say we have 127 points, and that 127 points we can use to do some study, some solving problems, or I can use part of that 127 and get distracted, hear somebody doing something, hear music while I'm trying to study. So obviously I don't have the entire 127 points to do some good work, right? So what we have learned is there are essentially two tricks to prevent my attention being hijacked by distractions, right? And those two tricks, the first trick is based on the fact that there are two distinct way of thinking in my brain. One is called the default mode network, which is related to the mental chatter, and the second one is task positive network, which is related to focus problem solving, right? And then the way that we have learned is, like, suppose if this is my attention, this attention likes quite a bit, and this is the distraction, which is the default mode network, and there are many of those that actually pop in. So these distractions keep on coming, and my attention, it likes to grab onto the distractions. So what we have learned is, trick number one is training this monkey attention to grab onto something we call an anchor. So it actually grabs to the anchor as fondly as it catches on to these distracting thoughts. So we ask the attention to keep on coming back to the anchor. It goes back to the distraction, then again we show the anchor. So while it is doing this thing again and again, my monkey mind actually evolves, right? And give me a second. It becomes a little bit of more like a tiger, and it is not too much affected by these distractions, so it can actually grab it but let it go very fast. So these distractions come here, it can see it, sometimes grab it, sometimes don't even grab it. So that is the trick number one, right? And that trick number one is the anchoring, what we call it, using breath as an anchor and thought as an anchor. If we do this trick, if we do this exercise twice a day, 10 minutes in one session, it is almost like going to the gym and doing push-ups. And as you do more push-ups, you get more stronger, and your attention becomes like the tiger attention, is more focused. So that is the trick number one. Trick number two is, say some distractions come and my attention is still growing up. It is not able to catch and let it go. So what happens is, those distractions, or thoughts, they trigger neurochemicals in my brain. And those neurochemicals go and create sensations, and those sensations blow up in terms of full-fledged emotions, right? So now the second trick is, say I was not able to catch a distraction, and the distraction got amplified, and it created neurochemicals, and sensations are beginning to get created in my body. So how do I watch those sensations equanimously without getting entangled? So the second trick is the sensation watching, right? So essentially, and we'll do both these tricks after I stop here.
Can you give an example, Prithvi, for how the sensation watching? Like a real life, what happened? Like somebody got angry or something?
Yes. So yes. So it is almost like, so sensation watching is like you see that if the anger, if you see something and you see that anger is starting to bubble up in your body, right? So the anger, full-fledged anger, will be flushing of the face, wringing of the ears, right, and maybe pounding of the chest, right? So all those sensations actually is what we perceive as anger. Similarly, there will be a bunch of sensations that can be attributed to, let's say, jealousy or disgust, right? So typically they have a very concrete typical pattern. So if we can watch that pattern of sensations, that is exactly what we are trying to do. And there was in our workshop, there was a question: is what do you mean by sensations, right? So I think I found it useful. That answer is, by sensation we are not looking for any like a really out of the, so to say, the way or glorious thing experiences. What we are simply talking about sensation is, if you take your hand, close your eyes, and you first look at your hand and then close your eyes, right? Why? Now, can you still feel the hand is still there, right? The hand is still there because of some sensations that you can feel, right? That subtle sensation, the small sensations on your skin, the maybe some sensation inside your hand, is what we are calling as sensation.
Yeah, and the gross ones are like, shortness of breath or flushing of face or pain or feeling too much heat. Those are gross, but subtle. When you can't feel anything, those are very subtle, but you still know that, just like Prithvi said, the hand exists. You know about that. You know that it is there. Those will be the subtle ones, right?
Yeah. So we will do after I finish the introduction, we'll do an exercise that will have. So we'll do it sequentially. We'll do the trick number 1. We'll then do the trick number 2. And how you can visualize this again is that, think about that you are the goalkeeper, and the distraction is coming in form of a football towards you, and you use the first trick to divert that distraction, which is your anchoring technique, right? Suppose the ball gets deflected but still coming towards goal, then you use the second trick, your watching sensation, and hopefully between these two tricks you will be able to deflect the distraction before it hits the goal. Because if it hits the goal, what happens is that it takes the points away from your 127, the 127 points that you have, right? So you'll have half or even less of that available, because you will be thinking about something else while you are trying to do your work, right? Or thinking about work when you are in vacation, thinking about vacation when you are at work, being distracted. You come to a room and you don't know why we are here, right? All those type of experiences that are quite common. So, so how about we start I think that the exercises we have already followed, and they're part of the recordings that we have. So how about we start off with the thought, the breath as an anchor, and then the sensation. It will take about 20-21 minutes.
So 13 minutes, breath as an anchor, smaller one. Okay. Purnima, please.
I'll do it right now. Welcome to the MindGym guided meditation. Let us start with first exploring what exactly are we trying to do before starting on the details about the meditation technique. We will try to build up the capacity to let go of thoughts by continuously bringing our attention back on an anchor. As the attention favors the anchor, it automatically practices letting go from distracting thoughts. There are many kinds of anchors that can be used in this technique. In MindGym, we will use breath as an anchor. Breath is the simplest and most used anchor, also taught by the Buddha. Breath is always with us. It's real, and bringing our attention to it brings us to the present moment. Let us perform a couple-minute prep before starting. You can sit cross-legged on a mat, or you can sit on a chair. Be aware of your bottoms before you start and balance your weight evenly. Try to keep your back as straight as possible, but not tense. Gently close your eyes. Before you start, think about an image that triggers a natural outpouring of love. Image of pets or kids when they were little is usually very effective. Think of a time when you were a small kid and you were taken care of. Try to experience the feeling of I'm taken care of, and hence nothing to worry about. Relax and let go of the tension in the jaw, in the shoulders, and any other place in the body that feels tight. Now we will go into belly breathing, which increases our capacity of not getting distracted by thoughts. With longer practice, it may also reduce the number of thoughts generated in our mind. The technique is quite simple. Make sure your belly goes up when you breathe in, and it goes in when you breathe out. This is different from chest breathing, where the chest goes out and the belly goes in when we breathe in, and the chest goes in and belly out when we breathe out. Focus on the belly as you breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe out, belly in. Do it a few times. Now, put your attention on the sensations in your back, specifically around your spine. Move the attention from the bottom of the spine to your neck and back down. Now, synchronize this up and down movement with belly breathing. Move the attention up slowly as you breathe in, and move it down along the back as you breathe out. This will help further quiet our active mind. Let us repeat this a few times. Move the attention up your spine slowly as you breathe in, and move it down along the back as you breathe out. Now that your mind has calmed down and the attention is starting to get focused, we will move into the meditation. Bring your attention to the breath. You don't need to breathe differently, just the normal belly breath. Watch when it enters the nostrils and comes out. Observe the warmth or the coldness. Watch the gap between the in and the out breath closely. Observe the sensations it creates below the nostrils and above the upper lip. We are using breath as an anchor in this technique. If your attention wanders into other thoughts, get it back to the breath whenever you become aware of the fact that you have wandered. We are trying to gently favor the breath. We don't want to judge ourselves or the thoughts that distracted us. We want to stay equanimous. If your attention does not wander, continue to watch the breath and the sensations it creates with more awareness. You may zone out or move into the gap between the breath and thoughts sometime during the practice. As soon as you realize you're in a zone, bring the attention back to the anchor. Keep your awareness on your breath. Be aware of your breath. Watch the warm breath in and out, and the sensations it creates above the upper lip. Be aware of your breath. If your attention wanders into other thoughts, get it back to the breath whenever you realize. No need to judge the thoughts or the drifting away. We are practicing letting go of thoughts and coming back to the anchor. Continue to watch. Stay with the breath. the awareness of your breath. Watch the warm breath in and out, and the sensation it creates above the upper lip. Keep your awareness. Continue to watch. Stay with the breath.
You can sit quietly for another minute. Let the mind settle down. And we will start on this sensation technique after that. The sensation technique, this is the second attempt at that distracting football. Pudima, let's play it.
Welcome to MindGym. Today, we are going to use a technique of body scan. Practicing this technique builds our awareness of the body and the sensations that appear in it. Sensations have been proven to have a close link to the thoughts in our mind and the emotions that rise with it. When we become aware of our sensations, it helps dissolve the emotion that generated it. This also relaxes the body and mind. Let's begin to scan the body without any judgments. Let's start by sitting in a relaxed manner, and let's do a few belly breaths. Belly breathing is simple. The belly goes out when you breathe in, and it goes in when you breathe out. Let's do about 10 belly breaths. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe out, belly in. Now that the mind has calmed down, let's begin by bringing our attention to the circle right on the top of the head. Be fully aware of any sensations you can find and gently scan the small area on the top of the head. Now, slowly scan the head, and then bring your attention down the face. Scan the forehead, then the cheeks, nose, chin, lips, the eyes. Try to find any sensations, pleasant or unpleasant, and observe it closely without any judgments. Now trace your attention down the neck slowly. Now let's scan the left shoulder and then go down the left arm slowly. Let's scan the upper arm, the elbow, the lower arm. Be aware of the hand, the top and the palm, and each one of the fingers, one at a time. See if you can find any sensations, gross or subtle. Is there any tingling, throbbing? Now, trace your way up the arm slowly while being aware of the sensations you can find. Now we will move to scan the right shoulder. Can you see any tightness, any pain? Now let's go down the right arm slowly. See if you can find any sensations. Heat, cold. Trace your way down the arm slowly while being aware of the sensations. Bring your attention down, upper arm, elbow, lower arm, then the hand, the top of the hand, then the palm, and each of the fingers, one at a time. Then slowly trace your attention back up the arm. Remember, whatever the sensations might be, pleasant or unpleasant, just observe them with complete equanimity. Now, let's feel the chest area, part by part. Then, slowly we can move the attention down to the abdomen area. Do you feel any tightness or throbbing? Relax the areas if you feel any tightness or knots. Scan the pelvic area intently. Now, let's start with our left leg. Trace your way down the leg slowly while being aware of the sensation. See if you can find anything. It's okay if you can't find too many sensations, and it's okay if you can. Make sure you're scanning the front, the sides and the back of the thighs, then the knee, then the lower leg. Then slowly move your attention down to the left foot. Is there any pain? Is there any contact of your foot where you can feel some sensations? Be aware of the toes, one at a time. The top of the foot, and then the bottom of the foot. Carefully observe the sensations you can find. Now, let's start with the right leg. trace your way down the leg slowly while being aware of the sensations. Any tingling, any pain, any sensation where your thigh contacts where you're sitting. Then go down to the knee. Then scan the lower leg. Slowly move your attention down to the right foot. Be aware of the toes, one at a time. The top of the foot, then the bottom of the foot, the heels. Be aware of any sensations. Try to be very observant. Now, scan the hips slowly and trace your attention up the back, part by part. Make sure no areas are left without scanning. Scan the spine area, then go up and scan the shoulders, both the shoulders. Then trace your attention up the neck and the back of the head, the ears too. And take it back to the spot you started from. This technique is called body scan. You can keep sitting for a few more minutes and repeat the scan a few more times if you would like. Thank you.
So this particular exercise took about 9 minutes. Once we get better at this, you can actually scan it much faster. I would say that about 2 minutes for entire scan, right? But you can start with 9 and maybe do 1 or 2 repetitions, go up to 20 minutes, right? So to develop the proficiency. And then some of the other questions that we have heard in the workshop is that what if I cannot feel any sensations? It's absolutely fine, as it was there in the recording. If you don't feel anything, just move on to the next section. If you gradually, you'll see that there are a lot of gross areas which will start coming into your attention. You'll start feeling sensations there. So good. So we have 20 minutes. So let's now move to the next part of which is the chapter 8 of Unbox. By the way, I would encourage everyone to buy this book, right? All the exercises that we have is organized in this. All proceeds for the book from the book go to the nonprofit. So the chapter 8 of the book is what we call as I thought, right? So we talked about good thoughts, which is focused problem solving. Good thinking is focused problem solving. Bad thinking for kids, it is not exactly bad, it is distracted thinking, the default mode network thinking. And there is a concept about I thought. So I thought is a concept, basically the concept about I, right? What people found out that once you have done these meditations, practice these two techniques well, so what will happen the changes that you will see in your life is that we will start moving from a boxed existence, which is where my attention is very much distracted by thoughts, to a place where I can see the thoughts coming and going in on a background of what do you call it? I'm looking for the right word, which is not a meditate mindfulness type of word. Let's say expanded attention, right? And so initially what happens is that you hardly see a gap between the thoughts. And with practice, you will see the gap becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, gap between the thoughts. And then comes a time where actually you can see that only it is mostly gap and only thoughts come and distractions come, sensations come and go, right? In that consciousness, in that space, right? And then there is a third trick, right, which is a very very subtle insight that can take you to the realization that I am the gap, right? And I'll request Sonali to, if you can just take us to some little bit more depth in this. Sonali has been our collaborators, and she's a very experienced meditator and in the same path as us. So thank you, Sonali, for joining and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Prithvi. And you very nicely introduced it already, which is that, we tend to identify ourselves with our bodies and minds, right? And mind containing, as Prithvi mentioned, basically two kinds of thoughts, one which are focused on the work that you're supposed to be doing, and one that are distractive thoughts, right? So roughly good or bad, you can say. So that's what our normal life seems to be centered around, right? We are either thinking good or bad thoughts, or we are focused on, what the body wants, we're hungry, we want to sleep, and so on, right? So I, what is I, who am I, seems to be this limited set of identification with the body and the mind, right? However, as Prithvi also mentioned, as we continue to do these meditations where we break down the mind and the body into, just thoughts, because what is mind? Mind is simply a collection of thoughts. It's nothing more. Similarly, what is body? Body is just a collection of sensations. So as we do these meditation techniques and we actually start to break down the mind and body into their, subtler components, we then start to realize more and more that there is a background to these subtler components. And that background is, again, Prithvi mentioned the gap between the thoughts, or even the gap between the sensations, right? And other people have mentioned, other terms, like it's the actual awareness of all of this content, all of these subtle components, which make up our mind and our bodies, right? So that background, that substratum of our existence is actually what we are, right? So just, first of all, again, it's an advanced topic. So if you don't get it and you feel that, what's the point of even considering this? How is this going to make my life better or anything? These are excellent questions and you must ask them, because without deriving any benefit from any technique that we are talking about or somebody else talks about to you, you shouldn't go with anything. This is not about blind faith. We are trying to actually get away from blind faith in anything. You should experience the benefits, right? So again, so coming back to what I was mentioning earlier, which is we are trying to figure out whether our identity is simply based on the body mind activities and functions and components, etc., or it is something bigger than that, which is actually, it's the background in which all of the mind-body activities are arising and falling, right? So I have, in my own personal journey, 3 kinds of techniques have influenced me a lot in getting this understanding and then actually moving from the understanding to the realization of our true nature or our true self or our true identity. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. The names don't matter. But realizing that that's what I actually am makes a huge difference in the way you look at your life, right? So your perspective goes from, oh, I'm just Sonali, to, I'm the entire awareness of Sonali and the world and you, all the other people around me. It's just that common baseline. You come down from your individual identities to a common baseline, which is common to everybody. And it's not personal. It's completely impersonal. And realizing that, again, like I said, I can't put enough words around it. You have to experience it, but it makes a huge difference to the way we lead our lives. All right, so much about talking. I can take you through one of the exercises. I said there are three basic, categories that have influenced me a lot, but because we're short on time, I can take you through one of them. These are just a simple set of 3 questions, right? I want you to just follow the directions of the questions and experience the answer. You don't have to verbalize the answer, not even in your mind or, verbally. You simply have to follow the directions of the question, see where it leads you, because the question itself will lead you to the answer. And the answer would be your real-time experience. So we can just do that, right? Okay. And I will go off video because it's easier that way. Okay, feel free to close your eyes or keep them open. Either way is fine. I personally have noticed that if I close my eyes, it becomes a little easier for me. So we can do that. All right, so the first question, without using any thought, any memory, any emotion, perception, sensation, or their association. Let me repeat this. Without using any thought, memory, emotion, perception, sensation, or association. Are you a man, a woman, or neither? Second question. Without using any thought, memory, emotion, perception, sensation, or association, are you in the body, outside the body, or neither? Third question. Without using any thought, memory, emotion, perception, sensation, or association, are you limited, unlimited, or neither? Okay, when you're ready, we can come back.
That was very, very good, Sonali. Good pointing.
Yeah. So again, these are just pointers that will actually make you experience what we're talking about. right? So any questions or any experience that anybody would like to share?
I think the key thing is that being aware of the awareness, right? So these exercise point us to be aware of the awareness, the substratum or the background, as you said, of all the experiences, sensations, thoughts, and then the basically that insight itself. From that insight comes a breakthrough. First, it will be theoretical probably,
Yeah.
and then at some point of time, you have that Satori moment.
Right. Yeah, it's basically, I mean, if you exclude all these things, as the question was mentioning, without any thoughts, memories, emotions, sensations, you basically experience a blank state, right? But that blank state is with your awareness, because how would you know that it's even blank, right? The awareness is there. So it's basically an aware, open, empty, we can call another word for blank could be empty. It's an open, aware, empty state of awareness, which is behind all the sensations, all the thoughts, all the memories, all the emotions, which make up our day-to-day experiences. So realizing these two things, one which is the foreground of all these experiences, and one which is the background in which all these experiences are coming and going. But this thing is not coming and going. It's always there, because this is the one that recognizes all of this.
Sonali, who's recognizing that awareness? That's the one I think I'm still in the theoretical part of it. I'm not as experienced as you guys. Who was this that witnessed this witness? How did I, without memory, without any of the things that you suggested,
Right.
whatever I pointed out was by how?
Yeah, by the awareness itself. So that's, and Prithvi mentioned it too, you are becoming aware of the awareness. So the awareness is self-aware.
Awareness is self-aware. Okay.
Yeah, there are not two things there that, awareness is aware of some other awareness. No, the awareness is self-aware. It knows that I am aware. Right? Just as even if we ask a common question to anybody, like you right now, Purnima, are you aware? Are you conscious of what's going on around you? Are you a conscious being? What would you say?
Very much, yeah.
Right? There's no denying it, right? And you don't need a proof to prove your own consciousness or your own awareness in this moment. It's self-knowing. I know that I'm aware. What is there to prove about it?
How did the awareness communicate to the mind? That's probably what the point I'm missing.
Yeah.
So
how did the mind know that awareness is self-aware? How did my mind know?
Go ahead, Sonali. I think my thing would be that the thing is that it will be a thought exercise. I think go towards the experience. I think one important piece is if say Sonali asked me the question, are you aware? I hear that, right? And after I hear that, there is a pause and there's something that happens, right? That an answer back, I'm aware. So what made me answer that I'm aware? So the thought translated to something that interface, and then I said, yes, I am. So let's explore our own experience, I think, because thing is, at the end of the day, the dynamics of like thought and awareness, what mechanism of it is quite complex. It varies from person to person based on how established you are in the awareness, right? So there won't be one answer for that, right? But I would encourage you to explore it yourself.
Right. And also, Purnima, I would say that the thought doesn't know the awareness. The awareness knows the thought, right? Can you, a simple question again would be, can you have thoughts without awareness? Tell me, if you are unaware.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Right? Yeah, like in deep sleep, or when we faint and we're unconscious or under anesthesia or whatever, momentarily there is a loss of some sort of, basic awareness, and therefore there are no experiences either of, thoughts or emotions or perception or even knowing I'm Sonali, I'm this person or whatever. None of that is there.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So the fundamental thing, the prior to, as you know, in so many of these spiritual traditions, they talk about that prior to all the experiences of thoughts and emotions, prior to that is the awareness. It's the primordial reality that we all actually are. But all that happens is that our awareness grabs onto the body and mind and starts calling it, that is me. You know, that's what has happened. That from wide open awareness, we have shrunk into a limited identity of body mind, because the awareness has latched on to this thing and now it's saying, this is me. So what we are trying to do through these exercises is tracing the steps back and coming out from the limited identity back into the expanded identity.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonali. And then one
Wonderful, Sonali.
really, really wonderful. And one more thing, like if, so as Sonali said, that this is the advanced topic, right? But we just wanted to at least cover it theoretically, because what happens is, from MindGym's perspective, we say that we want to go from a box state to semi-unboxed state, right? As that journey itself is what get us started and get us asking the right questions, right? And then one day we can do the unbox. The total unbox is where we actually we experientially know that we are the awareness, right? So that is the entire journey, and it is not anything that is conceptual, or after unboxing we have to go to some cave and become a sadhu or a sadhvi, right? We can be unboxed right here. We can be fully effective, be totally grounded, totally at the same time be connected to a broader spectrum of existence, right? It is beyond just what I want, and my likes, my dislikes, right? And it gives a different flavor to life. That is just I wanted to put it there. It is nothing to do with renunciation and typical stuff. If you see, even in Gita, Arjuna actually, Krishna gave this a very so to say more expansive, obviously, but I think the basic concept was very much around this concept that you are much more than what your body is, and then go and fight. And that was done right in the middle of a battlefield, where with that wisdom, Arjuna went and fought a war, right? So we have to fight our own wars. We have to be more responsible. We have to be more responsible towards the climate, towards the society, and especially the things that are going around here, right? So extraordinary circumstances, it will help us to be more grounded and more productive. So I'll stop here. It's 11 o'clock. I'm actually okay to staying back a few more minutes if somebody has any questions.
Just wanted to say it was a beautiful way to end the 4 session series this time.
Thanks, Purna. Great. So thank you everyone for joining us for the journey, and we will again restart it after a break of a few weeks, probably take a summer break, and then hope to see you back there. And please continue these techniques. The techniques are available. Get the book. It has everything sequentialized. Go to YouTube. You have all the videos, all the guided meditations available. Do practice every day, right? Please, that is very important. Keep the practice on, so that once we re-engage at the time, we can engage at a more deeper level of insight, right? And we'll learn from you, and we'll learn from each other, and actually make it more effective.
Thank you all for joining. Appreciate it. And Purnima, thank you for bringing us all together. And if anyone has any questions during the, when we are taking a little break, please send an email. We'd like to keep in touch. And we will still have our daily meditation for the next week. Daily session, we will still keep going for the 4th week. And then we are going to take a break.
Yeah, and thank you guys. I wanted to mention my thanks also to all of you. It's the Sangha that matters, right? So, many times we lose our track if we are just alone doing things by ourselves. But staying in touch with similar-minded people, it makes the journey easier as well as much more enjoyable.
Yes.
Thank you. And
sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu. All right.
Right. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.